Hey guys, it's Vanity Ezel, back again with another Ezel in the Vanity Card Fight Vanguard weekly reveals. So if you guys enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to the Patreon. Let's get this one started. Today we got a lot more Monster Strike reveals as per usual, and we also got the DSRs from Magnolia and Seraph. But as I don't care about them, I also decided to put them into this because otherwise the title of this video would just straight up be called Ezel in the Vanity, More Monster Strike Reveals. That's what it would be called, so I decided to put the DSRs in here to make it spicy. So let's go ahead and start it off. First up, we have Wishing for Peace, Yggdrasil the World Tree. Probably wrong on that, but I only know how to say that Yggdrasil, so I'm going to call it Yggdrasil. 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept, auto rear. When this unit attacks a vanguard, if you have 3 or more damage, counterblast 1, soul blast 1, retire all your opponent's rear guards in the same column as this unit. So, another rear guard destroyer. I forgot what the card was that did it last week, but there was another thing that did the exact same thing. Icon Monster Strike and just Token Rambo in general, they both have kind of... Well, their styles are different from each other, but all their decks kind of have the same running theme with some of them. Like, this is clearly meant to retire how Token Rambo had the stuff that could stand or gain power, which you have stuff with different names. This has the same aesthetic to an extent, where you still kill a bunch of rear guards. So, I still like that. I mean, it's a free column nuke, so I'll take it. I mean, not free, but you know what I mean. Next up, we have Pesterone, the goddess of agricultural, and that illuminates the underworld. Very long ass name, but as per usual, that's how they all are. 8k base, 5k shield, grade 1 with boost. Auto rear at the end of the battle that this unit boosted a rear guard. Soul charge 1, and if the attack hits, soul charge again. So you're getting at least 1 soul charge out of it, then you're getting another soul charge out of it. That's just helpful. Monster Strike, though, is kind of the weird deck with the soul charging because, yeah, you need the soul for your abilities to go off, but if I remember correctly, the monster box forces you to put stuff into the monster box, which is not a soul at all. So, and you're constantly losing deck cards from that. So, I'm not so sure how much soul you would do for that. I'm kind of waiting to build my Monster Strike deck because I don't want to build it and then not be able to use it because it might not come in English. I now can build Token Rambo for free because I know Token Rambo is coming to English, or I assume it's coming to English. While I guess this is just fine. I'm just questioning how it would work with all the deck cards you're losing through a monster box type of deal. Next up, we have Grand Yamano Takaru, 10k base, 5k short, grade 2 with intercept. Continues rear. If you Persona Road this turn, when it would attack, it battles all your opponent's units in the same column. That's cool. That's just a free column attacker. That's awesome. The only thing about this is, like, as per usual, the Persona Ride, but the monster box allows you to search your monster box, I believe it is, for a grade that is equal to the card that you put into the monster box, so you could just swap out your Persona Ride as much as you need to, so that's actually helpful. Next up, we have Spirits of Contradiction Setsuna, 9k base, grade 3, twin drive Persona Ride, continuous rear, this unit can attack back row units. Okay then, so it can just immediately do that one card, what was it called? Wyvern Strike Tejas, I think it was, that could attack the back row, and auto rear at the end of the battle that this unit attacked an opponent's rear guard. Choose one of your opponent's rear guard that this unit attacked this turn, and retire it. So if it attacks opponent's rear guard and they nullify it or they guard it, the rear guard's still dying. So there's no reason not to take this because even if it doesn't hit, it's still going to kill it. So there's no reason to guard it when it's just going to die anyways. But that's actually really good because it allows you to do it for free. I say like a 3-up to get rid of really pesky rear guards. Verena Valiente, Ahem, or Leonard from Diablos, because I know some people who would defend that thing with their soul. So yeah, this thing's actually really helpful. So 3-up, I guess. Not 4, because it's weak power. Next up is Inviting Sweet Dreams Succubus. 10k power, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept. Auto rear at the end of the battle that this unit was boosted. If the attack did not hit, counterblast 2 and stand this unit. So, you swing. If it fails, it gets to restand again. Pretty good. I would say pretty good. And if you could restand the booster, it's not once per turn. So if you manage to restand the booster with this, that is actually more attacks with it. And if you combo that with the 1 grade 1 from last week that was like Counterblast 3 at the end of the battle that it boosted a hit Vanguard if you Persona Road the turn, I think, or maybe it just has to hit the Vanguard if it boosted a Vanguard, you restand all your rear guards, allowing for like 3 attacks from this thing if you're willing to waste all your Counterblasts. Either way, that's still, it's okay. It's not the best, but it does something. Next up is God of Creation Izagini. I had the name in my head, then I completely forgot it. Grade 2 twin drive, grade 3 twin drive, Persona Ride, 13k base, auto rear during your turn if Netherworld Creator Izunami is on your rear guard. This unit gives plus 10k power. So 23k swinger, okay. I'm pretty sure that we got a card last week that does the same thing, so another 23k swinger. count the token Rambo combo cards, so you gotta have one of each on the board for them to be useful. But either way, that's still good, because, power, and in this deck, it's a lot easier to do it than a token Rambo, because in this deck, you have the monster box. You can just constantly switch out your stuff as much as you wish, so it's always kind of guaranteed for your abilities to activate. I'm pretty sure it's once per turn. If I'm wrong, then for the love of God, I can see so many things happening at once, but it just allows you to do whatever combos you need to, play it right, and you could kind of just put your opponent in a situation, unless they have their own monster box and they get themselves out of the situation. But this is still good, so I have to say a 3 of each of them, because you're going to have to run the other one to actually get the effect off. Next up is Famous Detective Sherlock Holmes. 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept. Auto Vanity when it attacks, counterblast 1, declare a grade between 0 and 3. Your opponent may reveal the same grade, a card with the same grade as they're declared from their hand. If they did, it gets plus 5k power to end of battle. If they didn't, it gets plus 15 power and 1 critical to end of battle. So, pretty much, you swing, you get to see a card in the opponent's hand. That's guaranteed. But they can decide whether or not they want to show you that same grade. For example, you could pick a grade 1 to see if maybe they have a PG in hand, so you can kind of play around that. Or you can pick a grade 0 just to see if they have triggers. Or you can see, I don't know why you would pick a grade 2, honestly, but you could maybe pick a grade 3 to see if they have a Persona Ride. And if they don't show you that option, maybe because they're trying to keep it a secret, 1, you can assume what's in their hand now because they were kind of defensive about showing it, but 2, you're getting 15k and a crit off it. So they might as well just show you, because it doesn't matter if you have future knowledge if you're going to get hit with a big number anyways and probably have to use it up. So, really helpful card to have, actually. I say 4 of, because it just lets you see your opponent's hands, too. Next up is a Ruined Black Rose that controls the Frenzy Harley X. 13k base, grade 3, twin drive Persona Ride, auto Vanity when it attacks if it's the first battle that turn, Soul Blast 2 and it gets plus 10 for the battle. So an Aqua Force unit that actually can hit. Tell me I'm wrong that, when Aqua Force first came out, when it first came out, that more or less, when you try to get to the 4 attacks, you'd probably fail somewhere along the line because triggers are a bitch. Yeah, this is like that, but it actually works. Nice job, Harley. Next up is also Auto Vanity when it attack hits, Soul Charge 1. Okay, so, 23, and if it hits, you Soul Charge 1, allowing you to use it multiple times in a row. So, pretty good for a 23k swinger. Still have a problem about that Soul Charge with all those cards going into the monster box, but hey, it's fine. Next up, we have Goddess of Moonlight Tsukuyomi. 8k base, 5k shield, grade 1 with intercept boost. Not intercept. Act rear, counterblast 1, rest this unit, choose a card from your drop zone, call it to rear. So, anything that your opponent murders, call right back. Cool. That's actually really helpful, and you can do a play with this where you call 1, get another copy from drop, use that ability, get another copy, use that ability, get another copy, use that if you Persona Road this turn, stop there, call the thing from last week that could stand a whole board, and swing with the 1 copy Tsukuyomi in the front row that's without a boost for 18. Whether they guard or not, swing with Van. Hopefully they hit. You do your skill, restand the board, and now you got a whole field of Tsukuyomis. I'm not saying that's a good idea. I'm just saying that's one way to spam a field. Next up, we have the True Warrior of Black Flame Lindsay. 13k base, grade 3, twin drive Persona Ride, continuous Vanity. If you Persona Road this turn, when this unit attacks, it attacks all your opponent's front row units in 1 attack. So Vermilion. I have no problem with that, actually. I just really like that, and it's kind of similar to Vermilion. The only downside to it is you have to Persona Ride with it, but I still don't have a problem with that. Monster Strike, I'll give the benefit of the doubt to with the Persona Ride, because the token Rambo stuff, you kind of can't search for it. All the other decks, you more or less cannot search for your Persona Ride. This deck, you can search for it with the Monster Box. Unless it just doesn't end up in Monster Box, which is very unlikely considering you can just send 10 cards to there in one go, or it just ends up all in damage, you should be able to fetch a Persona Ride. At least one. Next up, we have Noble Valkyrie Brihilder, 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept, auto Vanity when it's boosted, counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's back row rear guards, and retire it. So, just to kill back row. Okay, nothing too special about it. Yeah, I'm fine with this, honestly. Nothing to say about it. Cool, 3 copies, I guess. Next up, thing that looks really weird, Requiem of Rest, 7k base, grade 1, 5k shield, boost, auto when placed on rear, if your opponent's vanguard's a grade 3 or greater, counterblast 1 and soul blast 1, look at top 7, add a grade 3 from on them to hand and shuffle your deck. Okay, that's one way to search for Persona Ride. and you don't have to put 10 cards into your monster box and lose them all. Hey, that's good. So, yeah, I like that card. I just don't know why it looks like that. It kind of looks creepy, but still an okay card. Maybe a 3-of, not a 4. A 4 seems like pushing it. Next up, my absolute favorite card that has ever been revealed so far in Monster Box, and the only Monster Strike, and the only reason why I kind of want to run Monster Strike right now. Magical Girls, Fujin and Raijin. It's not the Magical Girls part that I want to run it for the record. Anyways, 8k base, grade 1, boost. It only has a win Ridden ability, so it's meant to be used in the ride deck and then never used at any more copies. Auto win Ridden on, counterblast 1 and slow boss 1. Never mind, it speaks for itself. Search your deck for up to 2 copies of Magical Girls, Fujin and Raijin, so you do have to run multiple of them in the deck. Call them to rear into the same column and shuffle your deck. At the end of the turn, put the called cards into soul. The reason why I love this is, 1, you get like a guaranteed early rush. When I play at grade 2 with most of my decks, I try early rushing. Whether it's Nirvana and I try going into an early Verena, just the regular one, just to make a point. Or maybe Verena Arcs if I have it and I don't have the other one. Or Bruce, where I just try to call down a grade 2 with Leonard, especially just to try to rush him down and get a soul charge out for later. Or Magnolia, just to kind of push damage, so or later when I rush, they have less damage to work with and less damage they could take. Seraph Snow, not so much, because unless it's Lemon, because I just like to prison their stuff. While, I guess in Bastion, I like to I could go on all day about what I do, but anyways, the reason why I like Fujin and Raijin, besides like you can get rear guards and then shove them to soul, is because of Inazuma 11. If you don't know what I'm talking about, in Inazuma 11 Aries, I believe it's episode 23? I might be wrong on that. Now that I think about it, probably is not episode 23, depending on how many episodes are in Aries. I'm going to go with the safe bet of episode 21, but in episode 20-something, probably between those two ranges of 21 and 23, Mark Evans, the legendary goalkeeper, I don't know why I talk about this in a Vanguard video, but I don't give two shits. Anyways, the legendary goalkeeper Mark Evans unleashes a new technique that he's never used before, and in English it's called Mega Majin, while in Japanese it's called Fujin Raijin. I don't know why I care about this, but the point is, I find that move very fun watching, and I love hearing it over and over and over again, especially when it evolves into Fujin Raijin Ghost. And I'm not even going to try doing the voice because I don't feel like it right now. So when I saw the card with the exact same name as the move, I kind of just freaked, and I immediately started more or less building a Monster Box deck and deciding of what grade 3 I'm going to use. Point is, I love this thing. Fuck all logic. Thank you, Bushy. Next up is Valkyrie of the Holy Shield Athena. 13k base, grade 3, twin drive Persona Ride. Continues Vanna Rear during the battle that it boosted. If you have another grade 3 unit, it gets plus 10k power. So, 23k swinger. Okay, fair enough. Nothing too important about it. Definitely no Fujin and Raijin or Fujin and Raijin Ghost, but yeah, it's okay. Next up, Invitation to Nightmares, Nocturne. 13k base, grade 2 intercept, 5k shield. You cannot ride this card, and your other units cannot boost this card. Okay, that explains why it's a 13k base then. I don't know why you would use this. I mean, yeah, in an early rush, it's fine, and then it's discard fodder after that. I mean, I guess you could use it just because of discard fodder and as an early rush, and that's it, but I just don't see the point, because what if you break into it, and that's not something you want to have happen? So, yeah. I mean, that's partially why I don't run discard fodders in my deck, because what are the chances that I break into them when I don't need them, and then they're just discard fodders for PGs, or in the case that I'm out of PGs, now I'm kind of stuck with useless units. So, I guess it's like a 2 of, no more, no less, I guess. Next up, Legend of Restoration Sakamoto Ryoma. I am not even sure if that's what his actual name is, just the place I got this from called it Legend of Restoration Sakamoto Ryoma, which is also a character from Inazuma 11, also a character in Japanese history, Chinese history, I'm going to say Japanese history. How far in Japanese history is beyond me. I don't know why, but I'm having a flashback to Shoguns right now. Maybe that's where he's from. I'm not so sure. Anyways, 13k base, grade 3, twin drive Persona Ride. Act Vanna Rear once per turn, counterblast 1, and this unit gets plus 10k power to end of turn. If you Persona Road this turn, soul blast 1 and choose 2 of your units, and it gets plus 10k to end of turn. So, you get plus 10 to something, and if I'm correct, you can use the soul blast 1 to give another 10 to another 2 units. So technically 3 units get plus 10, but that involves you Persona Riding. But hey, that's still good, so, you could give this unit in your front row plus 10, then you can give 2 of your back row units plus 10, and then the front row gets Persona Ride boost, so plus 20 to itself. So that's really helpful. I guess like a 3 of. Next up is one who spins the song, Ono no Kamaichi. I could swear that is a buddy fight card. The name Kamaichi sounds like a buddy fight card. I'm pretty sure it was the Usuisu. No, never mind. I just read it to myself. Anyways, 10k base, grade 2, intercept, 5k shield. Auto when it's placed on rear. If you Persona Road this turn, choose one of your opponent's units and it loses 5k for the turn. So this is just Shiryuki. I mean, I don't know what to expect when I saw this card. I genuinely did think it would minus some form of power, but still. And then, it allows you to pick anything, by the way. You don't have to pick the Vanguard. Why you wouldn't pick the Vanguard is beyond me, but, pick the Vanguard. Anyways, auto rear. When this unit attacks, if the power of the unit being attacked is less than its original power, counterblast 1 to end a battle, they must guard with 2 or more cards from hand if they're calling cards to guard circle from hand. So, really helpful. Not that much of a heavy hitter on its own, but it does just reduce the power, making it harder for them to survive. So I like this card. 3 of. And our last card with an effect for the day. Benevolent Goddess of the Universe, Bezenzeitung. Probably wrong. 13k base, grade 3, Twin Jet, Persona Ride, Auto Van. When it attacks, if you Persona Road this turn, discard a card from hand, and your opponent cannot activate their auto abilities of their cards until end of battle. So this can nullify PGs. Yes, you have to Persona Ride to do it, but this can straight up nullify PGs. Cool. And Auto Van, when the attack hits, all of your front row units get plus 10 for the turn. So not only do you nullify PGs, but along with the nullifying of the PGs, you can basically give plus 10 to front row again, make it so plus 20 via Persona Ride. Cool. 4 of copies. This is your new ride line. I like how they're giving us a bunch of ride lines for like the knockoff decks. I mean, okay, let me phrase that. Crossover decks, not knockoff, my bad. Collab decks, whatever you want to call them. And our last thing for today is things I don't really care about. DSR's Magnolia and Seraph Snow. Not really into the arts. Nothing too special for me, but I know some people find DSRs magnificent. I'm not one of those people. I, in fact, hate DSR Bruce, and Bastion, and I'm going to get a lot of angry messages, and I'm going to get a lot of people banging on my door. If I remember what DSR Nirvana is, I believe that is the only DSR I truly love, if what I'm thinking of is actually DSR Nirvana. If it's not, then I don't love any of their DSR versions. But I'm pretty sure I love DSR Nirvana's version. Anyways, that's it for today, so hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, donate to the Patreon. Also, next week, we are getting, Lear Come On Stereo Trowdex cards. We're getting the ride line for, I don't remember what it's called, but I don't care. We're getting a ride line for it, so that's really nice. So, anyways, back to the outro. I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, donate to the Patreon, join the Discord, follow the Twitch, subscribe to my second channel, focus on Beyblade, and go check out Thera. And I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to stand up your vanguards.